let's take a look around the interface. As I mentioned, this is the standalone application, and this is what you get when you open up. This is the default state that you view of the user interface. You can open a file and you can browse your system and open up any audio file, or you can simply just drag and drop the file onto here and it'll open it up. I'll click Open Up File. This is a folder on my desktop that just got a bunch of field recordings that I used with my Zoom field recorder. I'm just going to open up the last one here. I think this was just a very windy day that I recorded, and I'll open it up. And there you get the view of the audio waveform. As you can see, it was recorded quite hot. It was a very windy day, and I've got some spikes in the audio. But what we're doing with this course is going to show you how you can repair and restore your audio. So you might have audio clips like this where they're clipping or there's some noises in the background, and that's really what we're going to get to in this series. Now down over here is probably one of the most important features. Here you're just seeing the waveform that's showing you amplitude on the vertical and time on the horizontal. And you're getting the decibel readout over here. So as you can see, this peak is at around about minus 10 dB, where over here it's gone way over the 0 dB head limit. Then along the bottom here, you can see the time span of the audio file. This is going across to about 47 seconds. Now, if you go over here and you drag this all the way onto the other side, here you're getting the spectrogram view of the audio. And this is not just dealing with the time and the amplitude. It's actually dealing with the frequency, and you're getting different color-coded areas showing you more predominant areas in the frequency. For example, over here, you're seeing the harmonics. So here is the root harmonic and all the partials of those harmonics. And when you get into the editing of the audio, you can use specific tools to repair and fix these harmonics or partials in the audio. You can also blend between the two. So I can drag here, I can drag back to the left and get the audio waveform and the spectrogram view in one. Now this is the view that I like to work in, where I can see both, but at times you might need to go back here where you want to do some fine editing and see the amplitude and the time. Other times you want to get just the spectrogram view and look at all the partials. So we'll work through that. Here you can zoom in and zoom out. You can make a zoom to selection or zoom out to show the entire file. The zoom tool is if you press Z, you get the zoom tool, and if you hold down Option, it's going to allow you to switch to the minimize. So I'll zoom in, I'll hold down Option or Alt, and zoom back out again. The grab tool just allows you to grab around. So if I zoom in and then go to the grab tool, which is the shortcut G, I can drag around to view different areas of that waveform. I'm going to zoom back out to show the whole audio file. I'll get to the instant process, but basically you've got a bunch of different functions that you can choose to instantly be processed as you make the change. Then here are your selection tools. This is going to allow you to select a time. I can use the T tool to switch to that, and that's making a selection along the time selection. Then you've got the time frequency selection. So that is going to allow you to select an area of the frequency. And this is where it makes more sense to switch to this view. Over here, I can choose that I want just this frequency over here. I want to work on just that area. Then you've got your frequency selection. So that's going to select just along the frequency area. So going back again, here you've got a selection that's going across the horizontal. This is where you've got a selection where you're making a frequency selection within the audio, and then you've got a horizontal selection. So depending on what you want to select and what you want to repair, you'll use the different tools. You're going through the shortcuts. The time selection is T, the time frequency selection is R, and the frequency selection is F. Then you've also got the lasso tool. So here you can just lasso around areas. If you hold down Shift, you can make multiple selections. And here is the brush tool. So I can draw in brush strokes to make selections. And if I want to choose a different brush size, I just click and hold, And there I can choose a different pixel size. So here I'm going to have a much bigger brush to make different selections, or maybe I want to go down to have a finer resolution for my selection. Then there's the magic wand tool. So here you'll just click on an area and it'll magically select what you're trying to get for. This works really well. Instead of having to draw around a selection, maybe you just want this selection over here. It uses very clever and advanced detection to detect the partials that you want to select in the audio. And the shortcut for that is W, so that's the magic wand tool. Then you can select harmonics. So here it's going to select the different harmonics. And as you can see, you can choose how many of those harmonics you want to select. So let's just zoom up so we can see this a bit more clearly. So there you can see the harmonics that are selected. Maybe I only want the root harmonic. There we go. Maybe I want to select the first, the second, the fifth, and the 10th. It's going to select those harmonics for you. And for the harmonic shortcut, you're looking at Shift-Command-H. And then finally, you've got the clip gain. If you click this, and maybe if I switch across to this view here I can see the clip gain for the audio. I can make node points and drag these up to change the gain. So like you saw, there were some areas where it was clipping. Maybe there, I want to change the clip gain for that selection. I can drag it down and do some corrections to the audio. So those are the tools available to you. And we're really going to be using these in great detail throughout the series. Jumping down to here, you've got a time readout of where you are in your audio. So if I go back to my time selection tool, this is going to show me a readout of where I am in the audio file. You've got your playback, rewind, your cycle. So if I make a selection and I click cycle, so if I make a selection and play back, in the background, I've got that looping throughout that cycle selection. You can have the playhead follow playback. So if you've got a long audio file, as it scrolls through the audio waveform, you can always have that playhead in view. And obviously down here, you've got a level meter. In the background with a shotgun in the background. Then you've got your start and end times of the waveform view and the selection and the length of the audio file. And here showing you the frequency range going from 0 all the way through to 24,000 Hertz. So that covers this bottom view over here. Going over to the right over here, here is where you see all the modules that are available. And we're going to cover these all in detail throughout the video series. But as you can see, these are broken down into different sections. You've got your repair tools, then you've got your utility tools, then you've got your measurement tools. You can minimize these if you don't want to see everything, or just click back again to view all the tools. Above this, you've got the repair assistant. So you can click on this to help you go through a process of what you want to do to the audio. This just really helps you if you're first getting into RX and you're not too sure what modules to use. You can use this repair assistant to take you through the steps. So maybe you've got some dialogue you want to fix. You can go through this analysis. Maybe it's more music or some other types of audio. But we really want to get through all these modules so that you don't need to jump for the repair assistant. You know which module you want to go for, and you can jump towards that and start using that to repair and fix your audio. Then finally, you've got your history here. So if I make a bunch of changes, I can see the clip gain adjustments and all the nodes down here, and I can jump back to previous states and then go right back to the initial state to hear the audio before I made any changes. And you'll see throughout the series how we use the modules, do some changes, and then jump back throughout the history to see if we've done a good job at repairing and fixing that audio. And one more important thing, up here are the tabs showing you the audio files that you're working with. If I had to open up another file, it will open up another tab, pretty much like a web browser. So you can jump between the different tabs of audio that you've got open and edit them accordingly to what you want. There's also this composite audio file that works really well if you're using a multi-layered source, or maybe something like a multi-track drum. You can click on this composite view and you edit all the audio files in one composite view. but we will get to that a bit later. Now let's jump into the next video.